them.
One of the most elite universities in the country is under the microscope after a Rolling Stone article painted a picture of rampant sexual assault on campus and inaction by university officials. NBC News national correspondent Peter Alexander joins us live from Charlottesville, Virginia, the home of the University of Virginia. Peter?
Mika, good morning to you. This is the fraternity where the most violent of those alleged sexual assaults took place, the Phi Kappa Psi house here. And this graphic article from Rolling Stone has sparked outrage and backlash across campus about the college community and more specifically the administration's handling of sexual assault on campus. On the University of Virginia's campus, a silent show of outrage, with students sticking dozens of notes on the admissions office doors, messages like "expel rapists," and a pile of rocks, each representing a sexual assault survivor.
Whose university? Our university!
Students and faculty voiced their anger in protest this weekend.
This is an intolerable act that needs to stop now.
The university is reeling in the wake of an extensive Rolling Stone magazine article detailing multiple claims of sexual assault on campus, including the alleged gang rape of a first-year student at the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity house 2 years ago. Just last week, the university asked Charlottesville police to investigate, with UVA's president announcing the suspension of all fraternities and related social activities for the rest of this year.
I think the Greek community needs to do some serious soul searching about the way that it has behaved, about the behavior it's tolerated, about what its future is going to be.
Phi Kappa Psi, whose house was the target of vandals after the article's publication, is promising to cooperate with any investigation, saying the acts depicted in the article are beyond unacceptable, they are vile and intolerable. UVA is already under scrutiny by the federal government, which announced Title IX investigations of the university and 54 other schools for their handling of sexual assault complaints. As students prepare to head home for Thanksgiving, many are demanding their school's culture change.
Clearly something is not working, something is not right. People are getting hurt over and over again, and that has to stop.
The statistics are alarming nationwide. 1 in 5 students, this number from the White House, 1 in 5 women is sexually assaulted during their time in college. A short time from now, Mika, we're going to hear from student leaders who are going to be addressing the administration's decision to shut down Greek life through the first days of January, as well as about the article itself.
All right,
Mika.
NBC's Peter Alexander, thank you very much. And joining us now from Philadelphia, the journalist who broke the story for Rolling Stone, Sabrina Rubin Erdely. Sabrina, thanks very much for being on. I guess, first of all, tell us what you discovered. What happened in that fraternity?
Well, I met a young woman named Jackie. She's a junior now. And she told me that when she was a freshman, she was invited on a date to a fraternity house where there was a party. And while she was there, she was lured upstairs into a bedroom where she was gang raped by 7 men, while 2 other men, including her date, watched and gave encouragement. She told me that she eventually took this report to the administration, and the administration did nothing. They actually continued to do nothing even when, almost a year later, she went back to the administration telling them that she had become aware of 2 other women who said that they too had been gang raped.
Sabrina, let me stop you there.
Yes.
Why did she say the UVA administration did nothing when she went there and told them that she had been lured upstairs in a on-campus fraternity and gang raped by 7 men?
Well, University of Virginia has a manner of dealing with their student victims in a way that is actually very common in colleges across the country. They present their victims with a number of different options that they can choose from, different things that they can pursue. They can either pursue an in-house investigation, they can call the police, or they can do nothing. And all these things are presented very neutrally. This is a new way of kind of presenting victims with choice, which in theory is a nice idea. But in practice, what winds up happening is that these very traumatized students who genuinely don't know what to do wind up being reassured that really doing nothing is a fine option, and they do choose to do nothing, just as Jackie did.
So the choices were just given to her neutrally, and there wasn't an investigation into a gang rape?
Not only was there no investigation, but the campus also, the administration apparently decided that there was no reason to warn the rest of the campus that there had been multiple allegations of gang rape against a fraternity that continued to hold parties every weekend.
Sabrina, two questions here. One, in terms of the University of Virginia's approach to victims, that they have a multiple range of choices to pursue, why not just stick with what happens in real life, not on a campus, that if you are raped, you go to the police and the police pursue it and charge or not charge the rapist? That's one question. The second question is, if you could tell us about the number of women who have since come forward since the Rolling Stone piece appeared to buttress what is happening on this campus.
Well, to answer the first question, in an ideal world, everybody would go right to the police, and police would handle it, and then it would be prosecuted, and the rapist would go to jail. Unfortunately, in the real world, very many women go to police, and they discover that they are, it's a humiliating experience, that these cases are often turned away. And in fact, it might surprise you that a lot of the women that I spoke to in my article did wind up beginning their cases by going to police, and they told me that they were turned away. These are very complicated cases, and departments without a lot of expertise often don't want to deal with them. So that's number one. And so they need a lot more training in this area if we're going to get serious about prosecuting rape.
You know, Willie,
but to your second question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To your second question, I have been flooded by emails and voicemails since this article came out from people other students who say that this experience of Jackie's, not of gang rape, but of rape on campus and then being silenced and their case not going forward is incredibly familiar to them and really rings true.
Sabrina, it's Willie Geist. You write about another young woman in your piece named Stacy, who actually did go through the process, had the courage to come forward, had the hearing for the man that she says raped her. He was expelled from school. She thought, the monster is gone. I don't have to look over my shoulder. He's not on this campus anymore. But he was, quote, expelled for 1 year. It was a suspension, effectively. How harsh are penalties at UVA and colleges across the country, and why aren't they more harsh?
At UVA, there really is no true penalty for sexual assault. There are very few of these cases that actually make it through these disciplinary hearings, and the punishment is usually just kind of a slap on the wrist. This suspension, this 1-year suspension that this one man had, is just about as harsh as the penalties get. UVA has never, as far as we're aware, suspended anybody, even though, expelled anybody, even though they regularly expel people for academic infractions like cheating on tests.
You know, and look at the suspension. For anybody that has been around a fraternity, or I tried to join a fraternity and it lasted about a week and a half. Shock of all shocks, I don't join things well. They're suspending them through January the 9th. Wow. Thanksgiving's coming up, then exams, then Christmas. I mean, talk about that. This isn't even a slap on the wrist. They're not having parties at fraternities now between now and January the 9th. They need to suspend them for a year. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. I have one final question. The fraternity, Sabrina, in question, because you can always tell how fraternities are treated by how powerful the alumni are. How powerful is this fraternity? And do they have a powerful network of alumni that protect them?
This is actually considered one of the most powerful fraternities on campus. It's one of the wealthiest fraternities on campus. Okay. Their house has the best real estate. They have very distinguished alumni. One of their alumni is Woodrow Wilson, who's of course not around to help them now, but many of their alumni, they go to Wall Street, they're in politics, they're very influential, and so yes, they're a force to be reckoned with.
That certainly explains a lot. Sabrina, thank you so much.
Great work.
Thank you for having me.
Sabrina's piece is online and in the new issue of Rolling Stone magazine.
That does explain a lot about powerful fraternities who have powerful parents, who are powerful alumni, who give lots of money to the universities. Sometimes They just kind of get away with a slap on the wrist.
UVA is a wonderful school. It's a great place and has
extraordinary
for a long time, but somebody's got to step up. I mean, we heard the president of the university saying the Greek system needs to take a good look at itself.
Not just
You're
UVA.
the president of the
You're
university.
the president.
And
do something.
Drinking on campus.
Yeah.
I don't get fraternities. I went to a college that didn't have any fraternities. All I know is Animal House and this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I know.
Well, let me explain to you that their rich parents allow them to get away with murder on a lot of college campuses.
Just abolish fraternities at UVA. What's hard about that? Just abolish them.
Abolish them everywhere.
And everywhere else.
All right, up next, the deadline is rapidly approaching for the talks with Iran on their nuclear program. The likelihood that a deal will get done ahead, plus more allegations against Bill Cosby. And the Washington Post speaks to a handful of women making claims against the comedian. The author of that article joins us ahead.